Hey guys, very good morning. Welcome to session on Android application development. Myself Ripple. Okay, so guys, in today's session, what we are going to take a look at is we are going to take a look at the fragments in Android. So as we had discussed yesterday, so activity is a kind of widget in which only single activity will be shown on the UI. Okay, but in case of fragment, what can happen is you can show the multiple screens on the UI at a single time. For example, let's say I want to distribute my UI into two parts, like you can see in this diagram. So on the left hand side, what I can see is there is a list, and on the right hand side, basically you're showing some details. Okay, so if you want to create such kind of UI, so let's imagine those are like two activities. On the left hand side, you have got some activity, and on the right hand side you have got some activity. Okay, so that is something called as the fragment. So we are going to start with fragment, and we will start with a simple application. So I'm going to create an application, simple fragment, next empty activity, and click finish. Okay, so in this simple fragment, what we are going to do is we are going to create a simple hello world screen using fragments. So UI wise, our application will be pretty simple. Like it would just show the hello world text view to the user. But behind the scenes, what is going to happen actually is in fact, what we are going to do is we are going to display that particular hello world text using the fragments. So what I'll do over here is very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new fragment, new Java class. We'll give a name as simple fragment. Okay, and this class is going to extend a fragment class. Okay, so fragment is more like an activity. So inside the activity, you would be having the on create method basically. So in case of fragment, we will have a method that is called as on create view, and we will have a method on view created. Okay, so there are two methods which we are having. One is on create view and one is on view created. So what does it mean? So in activity, we set the layout and we write the business logic in a single method that is called as on create. But in case of fragment, you would be distributing that logic in two different methods. One is on create view and one is on view created. So basically on create view would have the logic for displaying the UI on the fragment, and on view created will have a business logic for like handling the button click events and all those sort of things. So we have created the simple fragment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the layout for that particular fragment. So I'll go into the activity main, and let's create a simple button over there. Let's say ID, I will keep it as show welcome message button. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just creating a button, show welcome message button. Width, I'm giving it as wrap content, height is wrap content, and text I'm giving it as, let's say, click me. Okay, so now it is okay, so basically this is an activity, right? So we should not have the button in this activity. Rather, what we should have is so basically we should have something called as show fragment, and the text also I will give it as show fragment. Okay, and let's make it as linear layout, gravity, center, horizontal, orientation, vertical I will give, and below that I'm going to create a empty frame layout. Okay, I'm going to create a frame layout with match parent, and ID I'm going to give it as fragment content. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm basically giving the ID as fragment container to this particular frame layout. Okay, so this is a frame layout basically where our fragment will reside. So this is where we will actually going to keep our fragment. Okay, so now so we have the ID that is called as fragment container, we have the button that is called as show fragment. So now let's assign the on click listener to this particular button. So I'll give the ID as show fragment button. We'll go into the main activity. We'll give the ID as show fragment button is equal to button, and let's assign the on click listener on click, and let's assign the on click listener as this. And here now inside the on click, now we will write the code for showing the fragments. Okay, so basically this is a method where you would be writing the code to display the contents of the fragment. So now what I'll do is, now we have created the layout for our main activity, then we have created the fragment. So now let's create the layout for the fragment also. So fragment is also kind of its like its own act, like say an activity. So fragment would also have its own layout. So I'll just create a layout and I will call it as fragment underscore simple. Okay, it will also act as a linear layout, and let's add one simple text view in the fragment. ID I will give it as, in fact there is no need to give the ID because we are just going to show welcome message. Let's give the text as welcome to fragments. Okay, so what we are doing over here is we are having a linear layout, and so it is a part of simple fragment. Okay, and what does this fragment do? Basically it shows you, I can make it frame layout and center. Okay, so we should have layout gravity as center. Okay, so we have got a simple text view. So I'll just give text appearance large, and you can apply the text color as well. Okay, so it's done. So what is the layout? Fragment underscore simple. So here I will say return inflator dot inflate false. Okay, so what we have done over here, basically we have given the layout to our fragment, and the layout which we are giving, it is fragment underscore simple. Okay, so after doing that, now the next thing that I'm going to do is, now I'm going to basically show this particular fragment in the activity. So for now we will not require on view created, that's all fine. So we have got simple fragment, we have got the text view. Now inside the main activity, what I'm going to write, so when you click the on click, so when you basically click the button, so now inside the on click method, we will write the programming logic for showing that simple fragment. So we are going to write get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot replace. So in the replace, I am going to give the ID of the container. So here we are going to put that particular fragment. And what is our fragment name? So our fragment name, sorry, replace r dot this, and our fragment name is new simple fragment dot commit. So what actually this logic is going to do? So this logic is going to put that hello world simple fragment into our main activity. So now let's run the application. Okay. So now our emulator is started. Let's run the application. Okay. And now you can see. So we are seeing a simple fragment and we are getting the show fragment button. So let's click on the button and now you can see. So now what is happening over there? So when you click on show fragment, so at the bottom it is showing you welcome to fragment message. Okay. So ultimately what is happening over here is, so we are getting the welcome to fragment message, and now we are successfully put the fragment inside the activity. Okay, so we have put a fragment. So fragment, it's like a UI representation, and we are putting that particular UI representation as a part of activity. So each time we will click on the button, it is going to push the fragment on the activity. Okay, so just to revise what method we are using, so we are using get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot replace, and in the replace I'm giving the ID of the container and I'm giving the name of the fragment, and when you call commit, it is actually going to push it onto the UI over there. Okay, so guys, I hope it is clear to all of you. Now we will move on to the next part where I will be showing you how you can add two fragments side by side in the single activity. Okay, so basically what we are going to have, so we are going to have a single activity in which we are going to put two fragments, and those fragments will be added side by side, and like we will also see like how the two fragments can communicate with each other. Okay, so I'm going to create a new project. We'll give a name as two fragment example. Next, empty activity, and click finish. Okay, so ultimately what we are going to do over here, so basically we are going to have two fragments over here, and on the left hand side fragment, whenever I click on the button inside the fragment, what will happen, it will change the contents of the right side fragment. Okay, so what is going to happen is, so on the left hand side fragment, whenever you click on the button, it is going to change the content of the right hand side fragment. Or what we can have is, we can have the list view on the left hand side fragment, and whenever you click on any item inside the list view, it is going to show the details on the right hand side fragment. Okay, so let's do that. So what I'm going to do over here is, I'm going to create a simple layout. We'll make it linear layout, and I'm going to specify the orientation as horizontal here. Okay, so what I'm doing is, I'm creating the linear layout and I'm specifying the orientation as horizontal. So what will happen, when your application will run, it will always run in the horizontal fashion over here. Okay, so in the linear layout, what I'm going to have, I'm going to have two frame layouts side by side. So I'll create frame layout 1 with 0 dp, weight 1, height I will give it as match parent. Copy that. One more frame layout you will have, so you can see. So we are having two frame layouts over here. On the left hand side frame layout, I'm going to put a fragment which will be a list fragment, and on the right hand side frame layout, I'm going to create a fragment which will be acting as a detail fragment. Okay, so again I will repeat. On the left hand side fragment, we are going to on the left hand side frame layout, we are going to put a fragment which will act as a list fragment, and on the right hand side layout, I will basically uh, put a fragment which will act as a detail fragment. Okay, so let's start with the coding. For this frame layout, let's give the ideas color list fragment. To this frame layout, give the ideas color detail fragment. Okay, now let's go into the main activity. Okay, so now we will have to create two fragments as well. One is color list fragment and one is color detail fragment. So I will go into the package and create Java class. We'll give it a name as color list fragment. It is going to extend fragment, and we are going to have new class color detail fragment. Okay, and we'll give a name as color detail fragment. Okay, so guys, okay, so just give me a 5 minutes break. I'll be right after the break. What I would request you to do, since I think you have recently joined, so I would request you to go through the simple fragment example. So Supriya, I think you have recently joined the class. So I request you to go to this particular example first, because otherwise the next example would not be clear to you. Okay, so we covered the concept of fragments. So please go through it. Okay, then I will start with next one. Okay, so Supriya, like, is it clear to you, like how the fragments are acting, like how we are adding the fragments when you click on the on click button? So any questions in it? Like any doubt, any questions you have? Like what is a fragment is? So fragment is like a UI, and what we do basically, so when you click on the button, what it is going to do, it is going to take that entire fragment and it is going to put that particular fragment in the main activity. Okay, so now in the next example we will see fragment in more detail. So now you can see what we are doing over here. So we have got the main activity over here with the onCreate method, and we are putting the layout as r.layout.activity main. Okay, so what does activity main contains? So if you see, activity main contains two frame layouts. One is color list fragment and one is color detail fragment. So in the color list fragment we are going to put the list view, and in color detail fragment we are going to put the detail view. Okay, so if you see, so color list fragment is actually going to extend fragment, and color list fragment will have its own layout. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layout and I will call it as fragment underscore color underscore list. Okay, and what it is going to do, it is going to show you the list view of different colors. So root layout, I'm going to put it as list view, and we'll give a name as color list fragment. Okay, so what we are doing, we are creating the list view and we'll give the id as color list view. So we are having a simple list view and we are giving it id as color list view. Now I will go into the color list fragment. So I will create a method on create view and on view created. In on create view I'm going to say return inflator dot inflate r dot layout dot fragment color list false. And now inside the on view created, what we will do is we will take the reference of the list view and we will put contents inside it. Okay, so on view created method, it's more of a like on create method of the activity. Okay, so what it does basically, it displays the contents inside the list view. Okay, so basically on create view is a method where you will be writing all your UI logic, how to display the contents and how to show the contents and all. And on view created is a method where it acts like a on create, where you will be writing all your business logic. So you can see in the on create view I am putting a logic for showing the fragment color list layout. Inside the on view created, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the reference of the list view, color list view is equal to list view view dot find view by id r dot id dot color list view. Then we are going to create the adapter, or I will create the colors in on view created. I'm going to initialize them. Let's give the color name as red, green, blue. Okay, so we are creating three colors: red, green, blue. After that I'm going to create the adapter, array adapter, color adapter, which will take. So in fragment, instead of writing this, we write get activity. So I'm writing get activity, then I'm writing the layout that we are going to use. So it will be android.r.layout dot simple list item 1, and finally I will be passing my colors over there. And finally I will write color list view dot set adapter color adapter. Okay, so what this fragment is doing, so it's more of a like activity. It is just showing us the list view in the on view created. So Supriya, just go through this on view created method and let me know if you have any questions in it. Go through both on create view and on view created method. Okay, so is it clear to you? Okay, great. Okay, so now our color list fragment has been created. Now I will go into the main activity, and there what I'm going to do is, so we have a container called as, so here I will give the name as color list container, and below I will give a name as color detail container. So here I will write get support fragment manager dot begin transaction dot replace new color list fragment dot commit. So what it is going to do, it is going to add that color list fragment into a color list container. Okay, so what this method is going to do, get support fragment manager, so it is basically going to add the color list fragment into color list container. So let's run the application. Before that, what I'll do is I will go into the manifest file and I will say that this activity will have the orientation of landscape. So I want this activity should start in landscape mode. Let's run this. Okay, so it's taking some time. Okay, so now you can see. So now if you see over here what is happening, so now I'm getting, so unfortunately that simulator is not auto rotating, but you can see now the view is coming in the landscape mode. Okay, and on the left hand side I'm getting red, green, blue kind of list view. Okay, and now what we are going to do, so when you click on this red, green or blue list item, I'm going to show the color details on the right hand side. Okay, so when you click on that, I want to show the color details on the right hand side, so we are going to write that particular logic. So before that, so Supriya, what I would request you to do, so just go through this particular method, get support fragment manager, and let me know if you have any questions in it. Okay, so Supriya, what does replace method does basically? So what is mean by replace method is, so let's say we have got the container and we have to put the fragment inside that. Okay, and so what I want to do is, so when we have the color list container, I want to put the color list fragment inside that container. So what I want to do is, whatever is there in the color list container earlier, I want to remove all those things from the container and I want to replace those things with the color list fragment. So that's why we use the replace method. So what does replace method do? Whatever is there in the color list container, it is going to remove everything from that and it is going to replace that with the color list fragment content. Okay, so that's why we use the replace method. Okay, so that's it. So now what is happening is, so we are adding the color list fragment to the color list container. So now we are going to move on to the next topic. So in the color list container, whenever you will click on any particular item, what I want to do is I want to display the details in the color detail container. Okay, so I want to do something like that. So in the color list container, you will be basically clicking on the color, any particular color, and those details will be shown in the right hand side fragment. So what I'll do for that is, now inside the activity, I'm going to create a method public void on color selected. Okay, so what I'm doing over here is I'm basically creating a method and that method is on color selected. Okay, and now in that on color selected, I'm going to accept the color, and here I will say if, or in fact I can write switch color case red, green, blue. Okay, so depending on which color you select, I'm basically going to start the respective color fragment. Okay, so let's write that logic. Okay, so what I'll do is I will go into the color list fragment and let's add the listener to the list view. So I will say color list view dot set on item click listener this. Okay, so that I will get the event whenever somebody clicks the color or whenever somebody selects the color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to implement the on item click listener and let's override the method on item click. Okay, so that we will get the notification whenever you click on any particular color. So you can see what we have done is basically we are implementing the listener and we are overriding the method. And now what I'm going to do inside is, so whenever you click on the color, I'm going to give the notification to the main activity and main activity will basically give the notification to your detail fragment so that it will change the color. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, now inside the on click method I'm going to basically see so I'm just going to say, now you can see what is happening is, now you have got the main activity in which you have got the method called as on color selected, and main activity is calling the color list fragment. So when you select any particular color, what I'll do is I will say main activity is equal to main activity, and here I will call get activity, and there I will say main activity dot on. So main activity has the method called as on color selected, and there I'm going to pass colors of selected color position. So what is happening? So whenever you are selecting any particular color, so that time what it is doing, it is calling the main activity, and it will basically call on color selected on main activity over here. Okay, so now your main activity will get the event whenever you choose any particular color. So it is red, green, blue. So here also I will write R capital, green capital, blue capital. Okay, and now what it will do, it will start the color detail fragment accordingly. Okay, so what it is going to do, so when it will get the on color selected callback, it is going to start color detail fragment. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so here I'm going to say, so now what I'll do is, so this is a color list fragment. I'm going to create one more class and I'm going to call it as color details fragment. And this color detail fragment is going to extend fragment, and we are going to call the on create view method over here also, and we will have on view created. Okay, so color detail fragment and has also got two methods, on create view and on view created. So since we are creating the color detail fragment, I will also have to create the layout for the color detail fragment. So my color detail fragment layout name will be fragment underscore color underscore detail. Okay, and we will keep the layout name as so it will be just as a frame layout, and it will have the id color detail layout kind of. Okay, so what id I'm giving, so I'm giving the id as color detail layout, and it will be color detail fragment. Okay, so color detail fragment, what it is going to do, it is going to expose one method, public color detail fragment new instance, and it is going to take color as an argument. And what we are going to do inside, I'm going to create object of color detail fragment, and I'm going to say fragment dot set arguments. So before that I'm going to create a bundle, put string, key I will give it as color, and value will be color. So it is int, so I will have to write put int. Then I will write fragment dot set arguments bundle, Okay, so I'm creating a bundle, I'm putting the contents inside the bundle, then I'm putting it as the argument to fragment, and then I will write fragment over here. Okay, so now we have got the bundle inside the fragment. So now inside the on create view method, I'm going to return the appropriate layout. So it will be inflator dot inflate r dot layout dot color detail comma container comma false, and inside on view created I'm going to say frame layout color detail layout is equal to frame layout view dot find view by id, and we'll give the id of our color detail layout, and then I will say and color is equal to, now I will call get arguments dot get int, and what was the key was color, and then color detail layout dot set background color, and I will pass that color over here. So what is happening ultimately, so whatever color this fragment is getting, it is setting that color as a background to the your layout. Okay, so now inside the main activity what I'm going to do, so as soon as this gets called, so here I'm going to say int color is equal to -1, which is case red, then int color is equal to color dot red, else int color is equal to green, else int color is equal to color dot blue. Okay, so let's make it default, and finally here I will say get support fragment manager again dot begin transaction dot replace r dot t dot, so what was the id we have color detail container comma, and it is color detail fragment, so it is going to be public static. So in main activity I will write dot new instance, and I'm going to pass int color to it, and then I will call commit. Okay, so now let's run the application, Okay, and now you can see. So now whenever I'm clicking on any particular color, so what is happening? So now it is showing me the appropriate color on the right hand side using concept of fragment over here. Okay, so this is how basically the communication is happening. So what I would request you to do, guys, so I'll keep open the main activity tab and color list fragment tab. So please go through it, Supriya, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so please go through these both the tabs and let me know. Okay, no queries. Okay, so that's great. So that's it for today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so accordingly, I'll update you. Okay, so thanks for your time, guys. And what I would request you to do is I'm going to share this recorded video with you all. So please go through the video, and if you have any queries, any doubts, please ask me the questions. Okay, okay. So thanks for your time, guys. See you tomorrow.